So you have spent your entire life dressing up, and when someone tells you to dress down, your brain freezes like a deer in the headlights. Maybe it's because of all those years of private boarding school whipping it into your brain, or the decades of mommy and daddy telling you you have to dress up, dear, because your grandparents are coming over. Whatever it may be, you have a problem with dressing casually. So today we're going to talk about how to dress down and maintain your image and weight. Because the reason some men carry so much more confidence in their image is not necessarily because they are better than you, but because they understand how to dress their image better than you. Now, you may have access to all the clothing in the world with an unlimited budget, but if you don't understand how to put these pieces together effectively, it's all a wash anyway. And if you don't want to listen to me, that's fine, but I'm Adam Groh, the owner and operator of Acme Clothiers. We design and deliver high-end clothing to the ultra-high net worth men of this world and take the work out of their closets for them. On top of that, I've been into menswear for 8 years, designed and delivered hundreds of suits to all different types of men across all walks of life. And this is obviously the stuff that I do all day long, every day of the week. Now, with that all out of the way, this video is for you if people tell you you dress too formally very often, that you feel overdressed in the pub and underdressed on the ski hill, and secretly you are afraid that if you dress down, you're giving up power and confidence. So by the end of this, I will have shown you how to dress down, maintain your image, and do it in a way that still gives you confidence in a different sort of way. Now, before we hit the scenarios, let's take a step back, and I want you to think of this one key idea. You are not dressing down as much as you are removing pressure from your image. And whether that's because you grew up formally in boarding schools, just a formal lifestyle in general around lawyers and doctors and such, or if you just had high family expectations. Your clothing in those scenarios has always had a job, a function, and a purpose. With casual clothing, you still have the same things, but the goals are different and the outcomes are not the same. So if that's still a hard concept mentally, think of it this way. You are dialing it down one notch on formality and dialing up ease of wear and approachability one notch. And this is achieved through 3 key ways in any outfit: texture-driven fabrics, softer structure in the garments, and different colors than what you're probably used to. So keep all of those things in mind as we walk through each scene and think of what are we doing in each outfit to coincide with the hints I just gave you. Scenario number 1 is you're meeting a friend or a group of friends at the local pub. There's probably TVs in the corner showing the game, and half the room is in hoodies, and another guy is in the corner in a bachelor shirt from 2014. It's very much not necessarily rustic, but it's a pub. Wooden tables, everything's kind of rough, but that's exactly how it should be. If you show up in a navy blazer, white shirt, and shined loafers, they're gonna think you're about to serve somebody and scatter. So to avoid that, the goal here should be to blend in to the people around you and help make them feel relaxed, but yet somehow still come off as the best dressed guy in the room by accident. And then secondly, you want to look the most put together, but as if you did it on accident. Now, starting with the shirt, it could be a white t-shirt if you want it to be, but you could also do a denim shirt in blue or gray like this one. And then you layer it with either a denim shirt like this or a suede jacket of some sort, probably a trucker and not a safari like this one. Then on the bottom, I would just do a dark denim jean, no rips, no tears, just something simple and easy. Again, it's comfortable to you, it's something other people are used to, but yet you'll still get a little bit of a stiffer feel out of it if it's a Japanese denim especially. So that way it's not like you're wearing sweatpants and too relaxed for your own good. Finally, on the shoe, I'd go with some sort of boot personally, a Chelsea in a suede, or even a low top leather sneaker like a Nike Air Force One, but do it in a brown, because the white is done by everybody and they get so burnt out quickly anyway. If you must wear a watch, do something simple. I wouldn't do a bracelet, I would instead do a leather strap, because most men are gonna see the bracelet's gonna stand out and they're gonna ask about it or other things. And just to avoid that, I'd choose a leather strapped watch. Nothing flashy, that's not the point, just something to tell the time. At the end of all of this, you should be thinking, does this outfit feel formal and within the tone of the place that I am sitting within? Better yet, do the colors that I am wearing blend in with the environment around me? You wouldn't show up at a pub in bright white. Moving into scenario dos, you are in a ski town for a business meeting. So maybe you're just off the mountain, snow's flying by as fast as that 911 Dakar you rode in on, the knobby snow tires, and you're in town. You're gonna be sitting down. It's a very Alpine feel, probably Swiss, I'd imagine. just for the fun of it. And business is in the air. There's a little bit of social, of course, to be polite, but this is a business meeting at the end of the day. You are not going to show up in full technical gear. As much as I love Helly Hansen, that's not it. And then 2, you're not gonna show up in a blazer and khakis. Please, for the love of God, do not. Because in this scenario, trying to signal some level of respect from yourself towards the other person. And then 2, you want to look as if you understand the environment you're within and the lifestyle that comes with that. You don't have to look rustic, but it does need to have elements of that more relaxed Alpine feel. This also means you're not gonna be an après clown and wear a Montclair sweater with the big ass logo on it and moon boots. Please do not. So on top, think a cashmere sweater, a fine gauge, something kind of relaxed. It could be a turtleneck, it could be a crew neck, but something simple. Then if you want to layer something on top of it, you could do a soft shoulder sport coat and a tweed or a flannel, or even something like this, but in a darker tone in my opinion, or a smooth leather instead of the suede, just for that extra winter durability. On the bottoms, I would do a wool flannel trouser, and that's really where I would leave it, because you want it to be warm and functional, but then do a looser cut, so that way you're comfortable sitting in that chair all a long time. Quick tip, if this were an Aspen, I'd wear a cool denim jean just because it's the American West. Then I'd wear a boot and not a shoe just to avoid winter slush and anything like that, and do it in a normal pebbled leather in my opinion. So that way, if it does get slushy, you're not gonna beat the leather up too much and deal with salt stains. As for outerwear, I personally would love to see a pea coat, because if you do it in a relaxed fabric, it could be really fun. Or do a longer coat, just make it more than a car coat, because short winter jackets just aren't as functional or cool looking in my opinion. Now again, for this thought process, let's think, does my outfit match the warmth of the environment as well as match the environments we could possibly be going to if this meeting continues to either his workplace or probably more accurately the chalet if he's on vacation? If yes, you're good to go. But real quick, it would mean the world to me if you enjoy this content to like the video. It really helps a lot, and it shows me that I'm doing something correct with this content and that you personally enjoy it and get value from it. Other than that, let's get into our next bit. Scenario number 3, you're at coffee in New York City. You're trying to look competent, not costumed like a finance bro in a dress Oxford and a Patagonia vest. Because a New York morning, you have to consider it its own sport, because you got everybody going to the office in their suits, but then you've got all the finance bros in the dress shirts and sweaters. And then you've got all the wives and the girl bosses running down the streets in stiletto heels as if it's a sport to see who can outrun each other in their crazy ass heels. Now, you are going to the cafe, you are meeting somebody. And if you are not going to the office directly after, I really would hope you are not wearing a suit unless you know for a fact the other person's gonna wear a suit. However, you still want to look as if you have something after this, even if you don't, because you want this to feel as if it's a priority to them, but not so much of a priority that they understand it's the only thing you're doing today. Keep that in mind. So, you're not gonna wear your suit coat, you're not gonna wear athleisure that looks expensive but gives up any sense of power in your image. And instead, you're gonna think this. On top, I'm gonna wear an Oxford shirt with a button-down collar. I'm not gonna wear anything crazy, maybe a well-fitted polo, but I'd prefer an Oxford if I can. Then in cooler weather, you might add a fine gauge crew neck sweater, and then that gives you a little bit more warmth to it. Now, you could layer a sport coat over this, but make sure it's in a more relaxed fabric. Think maybe a hop sack in the summer or a flannel in the winter in a brown, tan, or some sort of patterned fabric to make sure it doesn't look businessy. Now for cooler weather that New York is prone to, and you gotta put a jacket over it, I'd highly recommend a pea coat. It's light, it's simple, it's not super long, and it's easy to get around town if you need to. However, if it's a really heavy storm, then you might need to think about something longer. On the bottom, I'd probably do a deep navy chino or denim again. I think denim's incredibly versatile, so that's what I would buy first. However, if you're more of a chino type guy, that is a cotton twill fabric in a pant, then go with that. The idea with that is that it's a durable working fabric that shows that you are not about to go to the office if you are not going to. However, it's still somewhat formal enough to communicate you know what's going on. For a shoe, I would think maybe a suede loafer like this one in a dark brown, or do a loafer in a shiny black. Not patent leather, just a normal leather shoe. That way you get to show that you have a little bit of comfortable elegance about you, you understand how to dress a little bit more, and it sends just subtle signaling if that's something you believe in. Quick tip, I'd recommend a rubber sole if you're somebody that struggles with grip on the pavement or you just don't want the leather to be soaked through on the bottoms. Then lastly, if you have to have an accessory, Do not wear a backpack. Do a leather tote or a brief. Do not wear a backpack. You are no longer in grade school or college. It can really ruin the look of an outfit. If you must, because it's your job, fine, but if you can avoid it, I highly recommend carrying a bag rather than a backpack, which just ruins the whole look in general. Now to wrap this up, the 2-question filter, as promised, are as such. Before you walk out the door, I want you to ask these 2 questions. How will the people and or person I am meeting perceive me if I am dressed like this? Which means, are they gonna be dressed a certain way and then feel either intimidated or like you didn't take them seriously, or are you gonna be dressed on par or a single step up from them? However, be cautious to power dynamics. You don't wanna be outdressing your boss too much and have them feel inferior to you. Not a great look. Then secondly, ask, does this look function for the area I am in? I would not wear a flannel pant in St. Bart's. You'll sweat through it. Now, after all of this, you should have noticed that there are 5 main parts to any outfit. You're gonna have your pants, your dress shirt or sweaters, your overcoat, you're gonna have your shoes, and then you're gonna have your sport coats, suede jacket, denim jackets, just the layer to add some complexity to the whole thing. And if you switch those pieces out for more casual pieces, that's how you go from a formal outfit to a casual outfit. You do not have to make formal dressing a totally different thing from casual dressing. You're just switching high shine, low texture fabrics for lower shine, higher texture fabrics. Think worsted wool versus suede. Now, where do you reach me if you need more help with this? You can always DM me on Instagram. That's the best place to talk to me personally. Or you can reach out to me using the contact page on the website. And lastly, if this truly helped you, it would mean the world to me if you'd like and subscribe. It really, really makes a difference. This is the 3rd video I've ever put on YouTube. I'd massively appreciate it. Thank you all. Holy crap, it really sucks to talk so much. I'm not used to that. I can only make like 1:30 normally. It's just, whew. How do people last more than 3 minutes? It's just so much time. Like, I feel like 3 is kind of average, right?